Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Housewife Historian. We are here to talk the Real Housewives. Today's going to be a little bit of a popcorn effect. I would love to talk about New Jersey. There's so much going on there right now, and I saw Joe Gorga do a live comedy show at Caroline's Thursday night in New York City, and then made my way to the rooftop restaurant and bar, where I met lots of housewives, stylists, housewives, and husbands. So we're going to talk a little bit about New Jersey because we just got to get it out the way. There was so much that happened over the weekend, and we got to break it down because there's a lot of rumors going around about what we're going to see next season, and it's going to be dark. So before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on. I'm trying to grow over here, so liking my video definitely does help, and make sure you subscribe. Now, breaking down New Jersey. I have told you guys this before, okay? There is a dark secret in New Jersey that has to do between Joe Giudice and Joe Gorga and Teresa, and it's never been aired, but it has been the source of a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and a lot of tension and a lot of fighting between the Joes, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit in code until it really comes out, but it doesn't matter because Joe Gorga did an entire spread on this exact subject in US Weekly magazine, like a couple of months after he got out of prison. And he basically said that Joe Gorga used the parents' house as collateral. The business deal went sour. The home was, taken back from the bank. And Joe Giudice, Teresa's husband, built a loft over their garage and moved his parents into his home. So we all know the kind of person that Joe Gorga is. He's a proud man. He's a hard worker. He goes to work every day. He has a good work ethic. And so he very much loves his parents. It was, they were first generation off the boat. It was the four of them growing up. They were always very, very, very close. Joe Giudice gives credit to teaching Joe Gorga how to build houses, how to start flipping houses. That was like a big thing in the 2000s, if you guys remember. And allegedly, Joe Giudice helped Joe Gorga build his first house that he sold, for like $8.6 million. Then he built his second house, which is where he was living when he met Melissa, and she moved in about 6 weeks later, okay? Mind you, Joe Gorga had two fiancés that he had broken up with prior to Melissa, back to back. The last fiancé, they went as far as having a wedding shower, but there was a confrontation between the families, between the mothers, something along those lines, and he canceled the wedding. So two girls back to back. He made his fiance, he was going to get married, and both times it went sour. So 6 weeks after he meets Melissa and she moves in, I'm sure Teresa and her mom weren't exactly welcoming because they were probably tired of Joe bringing women in and out of their lives. We go back to the fact that, Melissa was on the panel and she was describing that, her and Joe did nothing wrong. They tried on the subject of, did Teresa know that Joe and Melissa were joining the Real Housewives of New Jersey? And that is no, she didn't know. They have admitted themselves. Kathy Walkeely herself said production Bravo told them, don't tell Teresa. We know that Teresa found out the night before the christening that Melissa and Joe were going to be filming, that they were joining the cast, okay? And in Melissa's mind, she's saying, we did nothing wrong. Everyone in New Jersey tried out for the Housewives. We would have been picked regardless of if Teresa was on the Housewives because look at us, look at how beautiful I am, look at my family, like, duh, we would get picked no matter what. Then Joe Gorga stands up, he starts to explain how when he's building a house, if he needs plumbing, then he gives that job to his friend Joe B, and if he needs windows done, then he gives that job to his friend so-and-so, and he was basically saying, like, feed your people, right? If you got money, you got things, good positions, you can help line your family up. And I agree with him 1,000%, but at that time, New Jersey it was just getting on the map. Like, I don't know how much she was even getting paid at that time, right? New Jersey the housewives weren't what they are now 10 years ago, 12 years ago, guys. They were just starting out. And yeah, I don't know. And so imagine that you get the phone call and you don't even hear it from them. You hear it from production. So what I really think a lot of the times we see, guys, is we see Bravo have been playing Teresa and Joe against each other and they don't realize it, or they do, and they do it for the sake of money and fame. Um, yeah, that's what I think. I just think they do it for the sake of money and fame. They would have to. I think that Melissa does believe they didn't do anything wrong, but at the same time, I wonder, had that been her sister on the show, would that situation have gone down differently? Probably. Do you think that Teresa still holds a grudge against Melissa for it? I don't think so. I think that Melissa and Joe have made money off Teresa. I think that Teresa and Joe going to jail fed a lot of people. Okay, a lot of people got paychecks because Teresa and Joe went to jail. Melissa and Joe act like because they filmed this prison special that they were really helping Teresa and Joe out. That's what they said, and that the girls should be lucky that they had food on the table and got to keep their house, because if it wasn't for Uncle Joe and Aunt Melissa filming the prison special with Joe Giudice, they would be hungry. That was not a great thing of him to say at all. He said it on one of his podcasts. That's why allegedly this year we're going to see one of the younger girls on out of Teresa's 4 daughters, we're going to see one of the younger girls finally talk to us about the situation involving her dad, her uncle, and her mother. She is decided to speak on it. And allegedly it's going to be dark, and part of it's going to be this issue with this house and this bad business deal, because I think that it always probably made Joe Giudice feel like badass that he took care of Teresa's parents and Joe Gorga couldn't at that time. Again, imagine that, Melissa maybe didn't even know that this transpired. It's very possible she didn't know but Joe's business dealings. And so she is on TV, getting a Rolex off the Christmas tree, driving the nicest cars, this, that, and all these beautiful, expensive things. Meanwhile, Teresa's parents are living above their garage. And so I think that would cause tension in anyone's family, wouldn't it? I don't know. I don't like to get into it too much because everyone gets a little crazy about it. So everyone be nice in the comments, okay? Everyone has an opinion. We all have a seat at the table, and we're here. We don't have to be mean to each other just because we don't agree with the opinions. But that's what's going on in New Jersey. That's allegedly what we're going to hear. I saw Kim D on Behind the Velvet Rope, and she was talking about she didn't want to say it. And I get she doesn't want to say it. She probably doesn't want to have to deal with Melissa and Joe as enemies. They see each other out and about. She doesn't want to have problems with them. They already had problems, then they made up. She doesn't want to have problems again. So she's waiting for it to come out through another avenue so she can just report on it. But people are sending her things about it and rumors about it, and because allegedly it's going to be a really big part of next year's storyline. But I actually have a copy of the deed. It's in my email. If anyone's interested, post your email address and I can send it to you if you would like. Also, what else did I want to tell you guys? Oh, yeah. Jennifer Aiden throwing the water. Did you guys see it? Oh my goodness. Now, allegedly, Teresa was in the bathroom and Joe was trying to talk to her, corner her, waiting outside for her, something along those lines. Jennifer comes out first and realizes kind of what's happening. So her and Joe go back and forth. Joe calls her all kinds of names. I think that Melissa called her a loser, and then she threw the cup of water. And she hit the security guy, I think, most. And then she threw the cup. So that was allegedly because on the panel, when asked about it, Jennifer Aiden said that Teresa and Joe are that Joe and Melissa are hanging on for dear life, and that they will say anything at this point because they want to stay on the show. And I have to tell you guys, I've heard rumors that they're going to do a men's special. Do you guys realize what that means? If they do a men's special, then that means Melissa is not going to have a place on the show, right? Because if Joe's on the man, which we all know Joe would basically probably be like, he would be running the men's special, the men's show. They'll probably do a special, 3-part special. They might do a whole season, who knows, and see how it goes, see how viewers feel about it. But I think they'll put Frank in, they'll put Joe, they'll put Evan if he wants to do it. He may not leave his career. I don't think Bill will be in it. He might feature in it, but he's definitely not going to give up his plastic surgery. And I just think if they do that and they put all the men on a separate show and not feature them as much on the Real Housewives, there's going to be more time and more room for the ladies to interact with each other without their husbands and being on their best manners. But again, it really doesn't leave much of a place for Melissa if Joe is on the Housewives, like on a separate house husband, say, let's say house husbands series, then yeah, what's Melissa's part then? She's, just like the sister-in-law. So I don't know. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm hearing. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Also saw Caroline. Did you guys see this side by side with Teresa and Caroline, sorry. And then there was also a photo of Caroline and Marge and Joe and Melissa. I think they were like all at a restaurant somewhere eating. So they took a picture, and I definitely think that is a jab at Teresa. Every time Joe and Melissa take a picture with Caroline, and every time they comment on each other's posts and like each other's Instagram posts, because they do, that they are picking at Teresa. Teresa said she really just wished her brother and his family the best, and she's trying to concentrate on her daughters and her husband, and she doesn't want the distractions, and she just really wants to be happy. And I think that makes sense. She is freshly married, so she is going to be wanting to pay attention to her husband, and, they're getting to know each other and live together, and they have kids, and so I'm sure that that's got to be a lot. And then she has 4 daughters on top of it, so I don't know. I just think that she's very, very busy. So she probably doesn't have a lot of time to be going back and forth with her brother, unless if they're filming and it's making good TV. And again, like I said, this is supposed to be a really dark season. And all of this is going to come out. So you heard it here first, though. Just saying, don't forget where you heard it here first. And make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and we will talk soon.